Building a business is simple. Okay, now I know I'm going to get some pushback on that, right? It absolutely doesn't mean that the road to building a thriving coaching business isn't full of lots of learning evolution. And there's absolutely times when it's downright hard. And there's also times when you're on top of the world with excitement. But when you step back and think about it, the formula for business success is really simple, right? It really comes down to two things. One, having a great offer that people really need. And two, getting that offer consistently in front of the people who need it, like as often as possible. So, number one, they get to know your offer. Two, they want to learn even more about your offer. And three, they won't forget you. That's simple, right? Well, as you know, in the everyday execution of it, no, not so much so. Because if it really was simple, very few coaches would find themselves at a loss for how to get new clients and grow their business. But that doesn't mean without intentional focus on what really matters, we can't shortcut the struggle bus that so many people find themselves on so that you can experience growth so much faster. We just need to know where to find that shortcut. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. What I see coaches struggle with every single day, day in and day out, that blocks their success. And the three key secrets that can help you get off of that struggle bus and onto the path of a lot more new coaching clients quickly. Welcome to the Next Level Sales podcast, where lead generation, sales, spirituality, and business strategy come together to help you live to your greatest potential while building a thriving business and life of your dreams. My name is Jessie Quimby Hearns, and I am so glad you joined me today. It is my most sincere wish that this podcast shines a whole new perspective on what people traditionally think of lead generation and sales, and that it brings you some fresh thoughts about your business, inspires you to approach sales and lead generation in a whole new way, and motivates you to build a life and business beyond your wildest dreams. I am so grateful to have you here with me today. With that, let's get to today's episode. Today, I want to talk about what I see so often as the biggest obstacle high-ticket coaches have to growing their coaching business. And I want to share the three key things you can focus on and implement right away that will help you bust through that obstacle and set you on a path to growth. So I work with coaches every day to help them grow their businesses on autopilot, to get in front of the right people, share their offer 24/7, and enroll new clients quickly and effortlessly. And so when I meet my clients, many of them are deep in frustration about not experiencing the business growth they desire and know that they can and should experience. They're done with trying to troubleshoot. They are doing all the things and working really, really hard, but the growth that they've been working so hard for seems to escape them. Often they're exhausted, emotional, frustrated, wandering into moments of self-doubt, which is so natural. And overall, they're just wondering what in the world is going on. Why is growth so hard? Why, when they are doing all of these things, managing Facebook groups, doing podcasts, being guests on podcasts, doing launches, posting and posting and posting and more, is business not thriving and new customers knocking on their doors to enroll? It just doesn't make sense to them. And these coaches, even in the midst of their frustration and exhaustion, have a burning passion to figure things out. They have a vision of where they want their coaching business to be, how they want to help people and make a difference in people's lives. Their why is really strong. So when they join me, we get down to the business of digging in and figuring out what's going on to set things up in their business so that that business and client enrollments start flowing in. Now, what's the secret? What is the missing piece that wasn't working? In the simple business equation that we talked about just a little earlier of creating a great offer that people need, and then getting that offer in front of those people on a consistent basis so that they get to know you and want to learn more about you, and they can't forget you, what is the main key piece to growth? Is it creating a great offer? Is it connecting with the right audience? Is it finding the right lead generation strategy? Like, is it posting on platforms? Is it launching? Is it plans for social media? Is that it? Is it consistency in getting seen? Because that, of course, can increase the likelihood that people will buy from you. Is it creating a great urgency element so that it kind of gets people off the fence and encourages them to buy from you? Well, the answer is yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. All of these things are important parts of the equation. I always talk to my clients. I think of business as a very simple math equation, like a 1 plus a 1 plus a 1 plus a 1 equation that all comes together to build a great business. And all these things are important, but they are all just surface steps. There is an important ingredient contained in each of these components, kind of at the forefront of all of these, so to speak, that if you don't get it right, you won't get far in your growth. And that thing is your messaging. The language that you use to identify your target clients, the language that you use about your coaching offer and how you talk about your business. The messaging is the kind of the behind the curtain. You got to get it right to even get seen in the first place. Fundamental piece that you've got to start with. Absolutely the foundation that you've got to get right to get your business growth going. It is that piece that if you don't get it right at the very beginning with your lead generation and any outreach that you're doing, your ideal people are going to pass right by your great offer without even a second glance. You hear that? If you don't get it right, people aren't even going to see you. So you can't even get your business growth started. And messaging doesn't just stop with lead generation and outreach. It doesn't just stop with how you attract your ideal people. It has to carry through each step of your business. It has to be in your coaching offer details, your entire lead generation strategy, your conversations with your potential clients, in your follow-up, each and every piece of content, newsletter, email, ad, conversation, DM, podcast, all of it. Whatever you say about your offer will either capture the attention of your ideal people or not. And unfortunately, it's easy for it to fall into that not being seen category too easily. So what's the secret to messaging? Well, I like to think about 3 target focuses to measure messaging against. Number 1 is being specific. Being specific means calling out to your ideal clients clearly, very, very clearly and specifically. Number 2 is the sharpness of your message. This means, does it hit to the core of their problem? Does it resonate with them? Does it activate a reaction, kind of an instinctive reaction from your specific ideal clients? Okay, so you need your message to be sharp. There's got to be a focus to it. And number 3 is that it needs to be simple. This means you're talking their language, where they are at. It is not a confusing message. It is easy to consume. You will repeat the message over and over again, but it is a simple, simple message. Okay. Too often I see it's easy for us as coaches because we are steps in front of where our ideal clients are, that our language has evolved to a different place than where we were potentially when we had the same problem, where our ideal clients are. So if we speak in too advanced of a language, that's not simple, right? So we've got to talk their language. Now, as I said, this is not easy, right? It is something you can address right away, but it's not something you should rush. Like, you just don't want to wing it. You want to give this some real thought. And know also that your messaging will likely evolve over time. So there's no need to, on the other side of things, become a perfectionist about it either. You don't want to slow yourself down and overthink this. You just want to take some time and be intentional about this. Now, I had a coach many years ago who recommended doing, at a minimum, 50 interviews with people who would be your ideal clients to find the right messaging. Talk to them about their pain points, talk to them about their goals, learn from them. This was the recommendation before you even started to build your coaching offer. Now, it's a great idea, actually, if you have the desire to invest that amount of time and effort into building your coaching program and your messaging. It took me months, months. I talked to about 70 plus people. I met some wonderful people. I did get some great information. But is this necessary? From my experience, I don't think so. See, the recommendation to find this number of people was to get into Facebook groups, start DMing people, maybe talking to your friends who might know someone. Find any and all ways you can to find cold people to share information about you who would seem to be your ideal clients, and have them share information with you. Maybe in exchange, offer to give them some tips in exchange for them giving you some of their time, right? So as an expert, you could say, hey, listen, I'll give you a little free coaching in exchange for you sharing your thoughts about this topic with me. The interesting thing was, during this process, of course, number one, it took a ton of time. And number two, it was easy to just get people who wanted free advice who were really not your ideal clients, your ideal people after all. They seemed to be on the surface, right? But when it came down to it, they just really weren't ideal clients. And so you spend time in a conversation with them. Yes, you get some information, but maybe it wasn't really exactly what you needed. So was it worth the months that I invested? I don't know, right? Maybe no. Could there be an easier and faster way to craft a specific, sharp, and simple message that really resonates with your ideal clients about your coaching offer and your business? My opinion only, but I say absolutely yes. I say this because likely, hopefully, you're building a coaching program in an area where you have some experience. You've walked the path. You've experienced the pain. You know the goals. You understand the goods and the bads of the journey. You are some version of your ideal client, most likely. Maybe there's other people in your sphere who you know who are also your ideal clients. You're likely not just picking a topic to lead others in their growth that you haven't also experienced a journey of growth yourself, right? And as a result, you will likely have that specific, sharp, and simple messaging inside of you already. You just need to do a bit of work to get it out and clearly onto a piece of paper. So how do I recommend that you do this? How do you dig this gold, this messaging out of you? Okay, so I normally say, get yourself a cup of coffee, go to a quiet space, have a pen and paper, computer, bring your laptop, however it's easiest for you to get it out of you and into a written format. You just want to get real and start brainstorming. There's no right, no wrong here. You just want to dump your thoughts onto paper. And you're going to start with number one, the first word, which is specific. Who is your ideal client? Exactly. Describe them. Describe them in detail, as much detail as possible. What does their life look like? Describe that in detail. Write down as much as you possibly can. It may seem silly, but the more detail you can write about your ideal client, exactly who they are, do they fall into a certain age range? What is their personality like? details of their life. As much specificity about this as possible is fantastic. Okay, right? We're trying to be specific here. When you're done with that, move to the word sharp, right? So you're going to have potentially a little bit more to write about here. Take yourself back to where you were when you started this journey, when you encountered the problem that you now help coach people with. What problems did you have? Dig deep, write down as much as you possibly can, get descriptive, write as much down as you possibly can. And then how did these problems spill over and affect your life? Not just one area of your life. Our life is comprised of many areas, our relationships, our work, our financial life, all of these things, right? Your spiritual life. How did these problems affect all of the areas of your life? What fears did you have? Were you stuck in this place for a long time? And if so, why? What were you trying to rectify the situation that just didn't work? And what did your dream outcome look like in contrast to where you found yourself with that problem? What did the dream reality feel like when you thought about it? What would you have given to get yourself there? Like, what would you have traded time-wise, money-wise? What would you have done to get yourself out of that situation? And what would you, if you could imagine yourself moving quickly from that point of problem to that dream outcome, what would that have felt like to you? People do like speed on resolving challenges in their life, right? So if there's some element of speed that you could build into your messaging about how you can help people move there quickly, that really resonates a lot, doesn't it? How easy or difficult was it for you to move from your problem state to that dream outcome? And describe what that journey was like for you. Write it all down. And then when you're done with that, you want to go to the last word, which is simple. And this is really taking all of these thoughts that you've written down and compiling them in a way that's really easy and simple to read, to convey to your ideal clients. Really simple for them to understand. Don't speak to it, as I said earlier, from where you're at as a more advanced person with a different understanding of the problem, maybe a different language around the problem. From your advanced perspective on it now, you need to speak to the problem from the language that your ideal clients are at right now, right? From their level of understanding. When you sit down and really start to flush all of these things out, these thoughts, these feelings, you're going to be well on your way to creating messaging that catches your ideal client's attention, that really resonates with them deeply. And as your ideal clients read your messaging, when they consume what you say about your coaching offer, when they hear it from you, they'll be thinking, wow, it's like she's in my head. You're speaking exactly what I'm thinking. And when you craft this language, when you dial this message in, this messaging needs to flow through everything that you do, all components of your business, all those bits of the equation, right? Your lead generation, your offer, your value proposition, your conversations with your potential clients, your follow-up, your messaging needs to run through all of this. And if you do this, it's going to help you get seen by your ideal clients right away. It's going to help them relate to you, to trust you. Your offer is going to make sense to them because of how you talk about it. It's going to be in their language. It's going to be simple for them to understand. They're not going to be confused. And people buy by eliminating things, right? They eliminate what they don't like or what they don't understand. And they keep things on their short list because it makes sense, because they trust the outcome and they like you. This makes growing your business so much easier because you and your ideal clients are going to be on the same page. Your refined messaging is the shortcut to the path of getting seen, of getting your offer in front of your ideal client so that they pay attention to what you're saying. to them getting to know and like you. You put this into place and you're going to put a big check mark by building the know, like, and trust factor that people need from you before they're willing to say yes to enrolling with you and to buying your coaching offer. And as you well know, more enrollments mean business growth and your opportunity to serve and help more people out there with your gifts, which is what most of us are striving for and where most of us really enjoy spending our time the most. When you get your messaging dialed in, it is truly the shortcut to your business growth. It's the thing that can get you off the struggle bus and onto the path of really connecting with and moving clients from not knowing you into new clients so effortlessly. So it is absolutely worth taking the time to assess how your messaging is working for you now. Could it be that you need to make it more specific, more sharp, more simple, so that your ideal clients really see and connect with how you can help them? I hope you enjoyed this episode. Now, before you go, if this episode resonates with you, I would absolutely love it if you would follow the podcast and leave a review so we can reach more entrepreneurs just like you who are eager to build a thriving coaching business that lights up their soul, gives them time freedom, and brings them financial abundance without feeling all that resistance and yuck when it comes to lead generation and sales. And if you're interested in knowing more how you can make lead generation and sales easier inside your business, check out my free mini course. You'll find the link to that mini course in the episode notes. And if you'd like to get to know me better, see what's going on in my life, hop on over to Instagram.com and follow me at Jessie Q Sales Coaching. Be sure to say hi to me there and let me know you found my podcast. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week, my friends. Just know I'm cheering you on to your biggest imaginable business success.